What's really, really good, my people? This your boy Smallito's Way, coming at you with another video. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Much love to all my subscribers. Let's get into this. So, Joe Budden podcast has been broken up. If you haven't heard, Joe Budden and his podcast, I guess they were on strike for a while. They haven't been doing any new episodes since late March. They announced late last month in April, I believe it was April 28th or something, that they were going to start doing them again, start the podcast up. And they have a big following. A lot of people watch that podcast. And so I've even watched it. I watched a few episodes or whatever. But yesterday, Joe Budden went on his podcast by himself, which I understand that Rory and Lmao were supposed to be there, but they didn't show up. And he fired them, or at least fired Rory on live. So there's a lot of people talking about this, and they, saying, they want to know why and everything. Here's my take on it. So apparently, I watched the podcast. I watched the episode, and Joe was pretty much talking about everything. And people have to understand: once you sign a contract, you signed a contract. You're legally binded to that contract. You obviously need to do your due diligence before you sign the contract to make sure that everything within the contract suits you. So what happened to me was Joe Budden was on Spotify, and I guess they tried to renew his contract. He went through a long negotiation, and they couldn't come to terms, and he wound up leaving Spotify. He wanted as much money as he could get. Joe Budden's betting on himself. Joe Budden's pretty much of the mindset that he's the creator, he's the talent. Him, Rory, and Lmao are the talent. And why sell themselves short on something that they have that it's theirs? You know what I mean? Like the only reason you want to invest and re-up our contract is because we're successful and we're doing our thing. So why not give us what we feel we're supposed to be paid? Now, that being said, he has all or most of the control. So Rory and Lmao were not privy to these negotiations. They're not privy to the numbers that were getting shot out. And if Joe doesn't tell them, then they won't know. The deal fell through, and I feel that that was the start of it. That was the start of the anger, because they felt that maybe it was a good deal that they would have took, but Joe, being stubborn, didn't want to take the deal. He wanted more, or whatever the case may be. They are under contract with Joe, so as far as how the show goes, the topics, the way that it's ran, whatever the case may be, Joe has final say. They have some input. I'm sure that he wasn't I don't know if he was a tyrant or not. I don't think so, but they can suggest things, but at the end of the day, it's up to him to do whatever he wants. And people, more often than not, like I said with the Meek Mill thing, people sign these contracts and they're happy at the time being, but then when they start seeing other people's contracts, or they start seeing how the business is really ran and understanding it more, they start feeling like they're being, shitted on, or they don't have as good of a contract as they feel that they should have. That's not Joe Budden's problem. I'm not a big Joe Budden fan. I think that, he's a lame, or whatever the case may be. But in this case, he's right. You're only relevant because you're on my show. It's the Joe Budden podcast. You know what I mean? It's not the other way around. He's the talent. You guys are there to back him up, or whatever the case may be. And to keep it official with you, anybody that's seen that show, they add absolutely nothing to that show. The show is basically Joe Budden sitting there ranting and raving for an hour and some change, 2 hours sometimes, and them throwing in, nah, you right. Yeah, I see what you said. Nah, you dead ass right. No. Joe, holla at me. I'll say, yeah, you right, and whatever. I'll take their salary, and I'll sit there for a couple hours with you a week and say, nah, you right. Nah, you dead ass right. Nah. People get ahead of themselves, man. Should have just been happy. Because from what I understand and from what Joe, at least we only got one side of the story, and Joe Budden's side is that they're getting paid in the top 5% in their field. So if you wanted more, I don't know. Anyway, man, this is a lesson to everybody. Read the fine print. Understand what you're getting yourself into before you sign on that dotted line. Because once you sign on that dotted line, you're going for the whole ride. Anyway, this your boy Smallito, Smallito's Way. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Follow on Young OG 3000. Much love to all my supporters. Peace.